Hello. Alright, so second day, we've got the second game. Let's just dive on in, see how we do. I don't really have a solid idea of how I think this is gonna go, but I'm just gonna do my best. Okay, so same deal as last time. We've got a file that has that just cleared the game. It has everything unlocked except none of the cyber elves unlocked are actually used. So if I decide to use any, it'll just be the ones that I feel like I need to succeed, rather than just going in with everything because I happen to have everything. So, since the first game, it's been about a year, as they say. He's just kind of been aimlessly wandering and fighting constantly, but starting to realize that just fighting for fighting's sake because you know you're defeating what you know is an enemy is not necessarily fulfilling or purposeful at all. So, we still have the weapon levels, but there's a lot fewer to get, which is like the start of making the system better. And one thing that's really cool is while we're in this intro area, we can't use a lot of the menus, because like the actual menu itself is kind of beat up and busted. I can't go further to the left, even though there's bound to be something there, and I can't go further right than options. It's like, I think that's a neat touch. They actually damaged the UI to show that he's been out in the wilderness just fighting whatever and not being maintained and everything. Anyway, this is how they open you in this game. It's like, hey, enemies are streaming in, fight them. This isn't fun anymore. You know what? I asked for that. That was 100% just... I was trying to say if there was something in the wall, and I just let it go. so welcome to this mini-boss. It's not good. Its hitbox is enough that you can easily bonk against it just getting close enough for your sword to hit. And you can technically shoot it down, but that takes like a full minute as opposed to 2 hits. Oh, and here it is again with hits. I need to be super careful, so I don't know if or when checkpoints. Please give me that. Hey. There I go, trying to find things on the wall again. Don't do that. Let's just play the game. That's a particularly hard one to climb back up from. The worst part about it is you don't have... these cliffs don't extend off the bottom of the screen. So you can't, like, you know, kick off, like, a tile half dead or something. There we go. Here's where a cyber elf would be. The thing I'm questioning most here is the hitboxes of how you're expected to jump over this. It's so tight. I may game over in the intro. It's like, when you have it together, it's fine, but if you're just a little bit out of it, you're extremely not fine. And here I am getting an F on on the intro. Oof. So we finally collapse from a year of aimless fighting out in the wilderness. And Harpuya comes back. Riding on Aztec Falcon, who is apparently rideable. And for some reason he decides to spare us and send us to the base. Meanwhile, at the base, the new fancy base, we have this person. That obvious, huh? So this is El Piso. He is the centerpiece of how things are going to go in this game. So we don't get the triple rod back. Instead we get another rod type weapon once he is ready for it. It's honestly a little bit of a gimmick weapon, and it also kinda doesn't honestly work super well. So, as for stuff that we have in this game, we have forms. These alter your stats and give you new capabilities and passives, such as this one giving you a lot of health drops. This one makes your saber less useful, but it makes your buster really good. This one is just low damage but high defense. This one lets you cut bullets down. Active form is the one I'm probably going to be using most, if not all of the time, because it's extremely fun. Here, let me show you what active form does. As long as you keep mashing attack, you can keep sustaining a dash that also spins and does a lot of damage to anything it contacts. It also moves really fast. The other one I'm quite likely to use a bunch is power. It's slow, but it does a lot of damage. And the main centerpiece of it, you always do the third attack of your combo. You don't have to do the two weaker ones, you just get the double damage finisher. It's kind of ridiculous. But it also has a pretty significant weakness in that it's not going to kill some of the same things that a full normal combo would. And if that happens, you're left vulnerable. Riot's form is also kind of decently well balanced. With its main feature being... I can't do it yet because weapon levels, but the third attack of your combo swings up instead of a big overhead. It's generally a much smaller hitbox, but it's better at hitting overhead stuff generally. This is what you get for New Game Plus, the proto form. I'm gonna try to use this, I think, at the start, but anyway, the other thing is EX skills. Any mission with a boss that you clear while maintaining an A rank total, you unlock one of these. And there are a few that just enhance the Buster Shot, one for neutral, and one for the different elements. Oh, not that one. And this one makes the ice charge shot, so it like splits and pierces. Actually, it's a really good range. This one is kind of like Electric Spark from X1, except instead of just hitting something and then the splits go up and down, they'll trace walls. Which is actually pretty handy in some gimmicky circumstances, but not actually super helpful other than just damage. Then the blast shot is also really handy when your fire explodes and hits an area, obviously. It's not fantastic, but it's really good for when you're trying to hit something that has a like protected hitbox. Because the main impact will plink, but your burst will still probably hit through. Then for saber skills, this one is a rising attack if you hold up an attack. This is a special dash attack. This is down in the air an attack. And this one is down on the ground an attack. This one is enhanced when you have the fire chip equipped. This one is enhanced with the thunder chip, and this one with the ice chip. This one I don't think is enhanced with any chip. Then the other two, with the shield boomerang, if you perfect block a bullet, it'll turn into an energy crystal. And this one, with the new chain rod we'll be getting in a moment, you can hold enemies in place and leave them vulnerable. I think it also... What this does is it'll suck health out of things, from what I understand. But you kind of just have to grab them and sit there with them. And then on top of all of that, we still have a full array of cyber elves. However, we don't have a increased defense one, which is a problem. But yeah, let's check out the protoform a little. I actually don't know anything about it, but as I recall, it has some kind of significant downside. Hello, El Pisa. So, the basic of El Piso's story is he's just another Reploid of Neo Arcadia that was around at the time of the end of 01. So while the rest of the Resistance base was escaping after we defeated X, he decided to stand up and help us, or help them escape. And it turns out he's not like any kind of important anybody in Neo Arcadia. He's just kind of... He's probably one of the most likely to be selected to be taken out and retired as it is. But his main character trait, I suppose, would be pride, in that he thinks he can do more with the Resistance than he should really be given the reins to do. And that's basically what we're going to be seeing. Servo is so disappointed that I don't want to hear his explanation of the chain rod. So the chain rod as a weapon is actually pretty neat. It just extends out and attacks, and you can also grab enemies and pull them in. You can also grab objects, obviously, and power-ups and drops and stuff. You can also swing. This seems like it would be a hard thing to mess up in a vacuum, but I'll just say it. It's not a very well-made mechanic, using it for swinging on stuff. You'll see, there's a point or two where they require you to use it to cross a pit. I'm absolutely going to contact with the thing, it's not actually going to grab, and I'm just going to fall and die. I'm just putting it out there right now, it's going to happen. So, the main reason Seal decided to appoint El Piso is because all through the first game, she's had to be basically the commander. She didn't want to be. She didn't take it upon herself. It's just she was the only person that could have, which came at a lot of cost to her ability to perform what it is she's trying to do, which is her research. Anyway, here's more of Dingus's great plan. See, Zero knows. Zero has a better plan from the very start. So in this game, they drop back to a more traditional type of stage select instead of the missions that the first game had, which is going to be good because it's going to feel more like encapsulated levels again, rather than set pieces in a singular overworld. I'm gonna go to this stage first. It's not normally the one I like to do most first, but oh wait, I think I remember now what the features of the protoform are. They double your damage dealt, but also double your damage received. Anyway, here's this song. It's great. Yeah, I should have used a couple things before jumping into a mission, but oh well. Also, I should get that form out of there. Let's roll with active. Right, if you're using active form, you can't have this ability on. So here's the saber abilities. Uppercut, wave, and diving sword. Like, none of them are honestly super essential. But they can give you some interesting tactical advantages for having them. Alright, these jerks. Hey you. No shield for you. So this thing is a chain rod fixture. You are intended to swing off of it. You can stand on top of it, but you cannot wall kick off the side of it. And here's a point where we have to use it. And it's probably going to fail me and I'm going to die. And that'll be a game over. So game over incoming. That was actually on me. I actually did not align on that one. Oh well. This game also doesn't have, if you game over on a mission you just fail it, so you have to reload the save. Nah, you just restart it. You have to clear all of them. Oh yeah, I forgot. You can't do it at the falling part of your jump because you fall faster than it extends up. That is part of the problem. Also, that is very obviously not a far enough jump to require that, so I'm just gonna not for that one. At least it's a good song. This one, however, is too far to not do the thing. I think. Let me... Yeah, that looks too far. So, welcome to why I wanted to come here first. This jump. Just the simple act of clinging onto a thing makes this the worst thing in the entire first half of the game. Every point the chain rod is required to pass a pit is not good. You know what? This is part of the problem too. As you can't be in like the tile of adjacent to the platform, or else it'll just do that. Like I am very clearly contacting the thing with my chain rod, but it doesn't take. Okay. Oh. So I have my saber leveled up to being able to do a triple attack, but I can't actually do it while I have the active form on, just because one of its downsides is being limited to just the normal swing of a basic combo. This is not going to be a problem once I get access to the charge attack, though. So once I have the charge attack, it's basically just going to be charge attacks. I'm fine. It's fine. The chain rod is fine. As an aside, when I prepared this file, don't ask whether or not I used save states to keep an A rank and no deaths getting through some of these stages. Because this I absolutely save stated for, and no shame involved in it. Why is it like this? The thing that sucks is most of the stage is still ahead of me. Like, all the hard parts are still out there. It's not an easy stage. On top of this. I was trying to get under and then shoot it up, but it is actually really hard to position yourself that precisely in the frame window you have to be able to actually land the rod. You'll get through this. Come on, let me have this. Okay, that'll do. It's a little crummy, but it works. Hey. Nice. So that's that EX skill in action. Your health is mine. Well, action in one sense of the term. Secret spot over here. You can go in like this thing's where that spike thing came out, and there's a little crystal trove over here. I think there might have also been one of the sub-tanks, or maybe an elf out here. So the not crappy thing that they often have you do with the chain rod is stuff like that, where you can grab these blocks and stuff. Use them to make platforms, sometimes to remove obstacles, like so. Nothing down there now, but there was probably an item there. So if you didn't pull this one down, then you can jump over there to that, but there's also a risk of just yeeting into those spikes, so I'm not going to do it. Also a Crusher segment. So you can go to the boss right there, but there is one more rescue down here. It's actually a really easy one to lose, and if you do, you don't get all of the mission clear points. Actually, I should change my form for this boss. Welcome to Sneck with big hands. Slinky, no. Whoop. Now we got this nonsense. Whoop. And that's a death. Death by loss of control from killing the boss. The Slinky is not good. Make sure you're on solid ground when killing the boss, because the loss of control can easily yeet you into the abyss. So, rule number 1 of designing a boss. If your boss design requires pits to be dangerous, change the design. Don't have pits or spikes in boss battles. Period. Granted, Gate has basically done every single thing that it did wrong in some way, but like there is not one aspect of anything in that fight that is like not just empirically incorrect from a game design standpoint. Okay, so that was the painful part, like the first like big hump over with, and things are going to be at least more normal for a while. So we're gonna need the extra health. You know what? Yes. For this game, we're taking the anti-spikes elf. However, the anti-spikes elf in this does not make it so that the spikes are covered over like in the first game. No. It just makes you take a whole ton of damage for hitting spikes instead of dying outright. And there is the general defensive buffer I forgot to utilize. Also, I really should have sub-tanked in that boss, huh? It's hard to think about in the heat of the moment, to be honest. You know, I'm just gonna roll normal for a little bit. See how I feel about it. El Piso isn't evil, he's just extremely consumed by his own pride, and that ends up becoming literal. Like, to be honest, his heart's pretty much in the right place all along. He's just kind of... he just does everything wrong. Also, on the fortunate side, the only other time when I think they expect you to use a chain rod to pass a pit, you don't actually have to. This is also one of the best songs. Heck. Right. It's icy, so you can't easily just dash jump off of it. And then I mess up anyway. Ah well. I played this game well once. The rest of my life is content to be mediocre at best playthroughs. I forgot how much of a pain this thing is without fire chip. Really should not have come here second. I should have done fire first, 'cause that's what I usually do, and that makes two of the other stages a lot easier. Actually, give me your life. So yeah, the main reason why I use the don't instant die from spikes is because they're everywhere, all through the entire game. And a lot of them. Like, the first game had a reasonable amount of spikes in a few specific locations that had specific solutions, but in this game they're just everywhere. Now we can go back to active form so I can charge. Right. If I'm using active, I need to turn you off. It's really hard to set up running jumps on the ice because you have to have... Like, you're still going at dash speed after a dash ends, but if you're not in the actual dash, you won't do a dash jump. I don't think I destroyed any of the generators, but it's fine. Trying to be fancy and like destroy the thing while also jumping on top of the icicle at once, but didn't work out. Why don't you do the cool attack that I actually like avoiding? Whatever, get out of here, nerd. The charge I was going to end it with missed, because I always have this problem when I don't have fast charge, because I'm so used to having fast charge all the time. That whenever I don't, I always release early. Yeah, I didn't destroy any of the things, and I took a boatload of damage, and I've been using elves. You should have seen the Forest of Dices. I game overed like 3 times just getting past the forced chain rod jump. That thing does not work. Well, here's the place that I usually do first. I don't know why I'm doing the order I'm doing at all, because I'm never having anybody's weakness as I go to them. Except for the last one by process of elimination, but... Yeah, the first part of the game is very, very military because we're doing things El Piso's way for a bit. Oh, I remember this part. This is the... you can just go... oh. Thanks, frame windows. There's the part where you can normally just do a spinny and go the whole way. The gimmick of this stage is destructible walls and using these bomb friends. You know what? Let's take this path. So this level is very non-linear. There are side paths and like other stuff all over. Actually, remembering what's on this path, I changed my mind because it's really annoying and full of death and those destructible walls, and it's not fun. But basically, there's the path you would naturally follow just going through, and then a bunch of side paths that have interesting things in them. Speaking of interesting things, I don't get into it close enough to really be able to do it here, but this room is actually a minigame. If you destroy all of these, then a second wave of them will appear. If you that are faster. And if you destroy that wave, a third one appears that's even faster. And if you destroy all 3 waves, then there's a really, really fast, like, UFO thing that flies by, and if you manage to destroy that, which takes more than just a simple shot and you get exactly 1, and you have to pre-aim it and know where it's going to be and where it's going and everything, and it's extremely hard to hit, but there's a cyber elf for that. There are honestly some pretty ridiculous hiding spots for things in this game. Alright, so that's the last of the generators. This boss is hard, but I like it. I guess it's not too hard once you know the patterns and everything, but it's really interesting to me. Why did I jump right into that? Anyway, enjoy some classic Mega Man bosses hitting you. Hey, I actually got it that time. So, when he does that thing where he creates the 4 illusions, and only 1 is correct, there is no indication of which is the real one that I've ever been able to find out. I'm not saying there isn't one, but... Heck. You know what? Give me a boost, please. There you go. Hey, a decent, only kind of horrible score. Why did I get a 3 in Elf? Is it not like a... Is it like a diminishing penalty or what? Does it somehow gauge how much you're actually using the bonuses you have? So because I didn't spike constantly, I didn't get as much penalty? Heck if I know, but... The scores are not super important to me in this particular playthrough, especially because I feel like this game has it is the most difficult to clear, but it's not the most enjoyable from a challenge standpoint. So a lot of its difficulty is not like fun challenges, it's ridiculous things like spike mazes and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I died to a boss earlier because I killed it while over a pit, and then you lose control and fall straight down and die. This is a cool level, but it's one of my least favorite boss arenas and boss fights in overall. Like, the fight itself isn't too bad, but the arena makes it a huge pain. And I would like this level a lot more if it didn't have these enemies that, one, don't die in one hit, and two, like, spawn and are coming at you fast enough that if you don't, like, react perfectly, you're gonna get hit. Not to mention active form can't combo. Why? Like, I'm just walking forward, and you're hit before you realize it's there. So that gets really hectic if you ever fall behind, but before you've fallen behind, it's really easy to just keep doing. See, I waited till I had a charge so I could easily finish one off if it spawned, and it still caught me. These things need to have, like, some kind of warning just off screen that one is about to come. Oh hey, it's this jerk. Fortunately, actually using weaknesses makes bosses easier. Who would have thought? I really should have done Phoenix first, because I know how to do that level with nothing, and it helps 2 of the other stages, and then one of those helps this one. It's just a much smarter order. The codename system is pretty wild in this one. Let's see, how are my weapons doing? That's almost full. That's going to be fast charge. It's really important. The sooner, the better, too. Chain Rod is just charge and fast charge. Buster Shot, I think, is charge and either fast charge or more bullets on the screen. And then Boomerang is increased distance. I can never really settle on which form I really want to use most of the time. I think if X form wasn't, you know, Buster focused, that would be my favorite, just by its stat field, but it's like, this one is neat, but you only use the second swing of the combo, which is like the least useful of them. It's like, you have all of these things that are neat and interesting ways to change the way you play, but they also limit just as much, and it's a little confusing, to be honest. I'll try this one a little bit, because it doesn't have any... Well, see, the problem is I get really used to the massive move speed of active form, so it's honestly difficult to not use it once you've gotten used to using it. So I'm probably just going to stick with this. Alright, time for the operation to begin, and hopefully nothing will go terribly, terribly wrong. Getting a little authoritative there, huh? Starting to get a little power hungry, maybe. So that question there is not a "Do you want to start the mission yet?" They just keep asking you back and forth. It's a batamos. See. Not that I need to, but... Yeah. So that's how you would get up there if you needed it. So, dev team, when we have like an action stage here. What do you think we should do for like the stage? I don't know. How about spikes? Brilliant. Wait. Don't forget. Management said we had to have a lot of places to use the chain rod so people feel like it's a useful weapon. Yeah, we gotta put some blocks in too. Oh yes, this jerk again. Much easier when you can actually use its weakness and do charge attacks. And fire one. The slow charge keeps getting me. Hey, decent score. Much other than taking a lot of damage and being a little slow, the only thing I lost points for were the elves. Well, things just keep getting more interesting. As if we didn't have enough going on already. So, Harpuya reveals a little more definitively that he's conflicted between his duty and his actual ideals. Oh, right. This is the level with this section. Alright, so now we have an entire armada. And I've been shot before I even had control. Luckily, you're invincible at that time, but... Okay, so the name of this level is, Don't Get Shot When You're Over a Pit. That was apparently not a dash jump, even though it was... whatever. Thanks, game. This is going great. I'm not going until I see the next one. I'm not falling for that again. Please? Okay. Right, you have to stay to the left when that happens. Hey, fast charge. Oh, this section. So you deactivate these lasers by destroying these things. If you use a ice charge, then it takes a second for it to actually destroy. So it gives you more time to get down under, or get in position to make your move, rather. You can get up to this upper route without getting hit, but it's really hard. However, the upper route is much better, generally speaking. Wait, no, this is right. Oh. Alright, so strat here. Just yeet into this dude and go. Also, those enemies are the worst thing in the entire game. Those enemies that shoot of 3 different elements. Mostly because of the places they put them, and the amount of health they have, are basically aligned to be as much of a pain as possible. Heck. Ah, dang it. That's the main reason I keep going top route. There's a extra life there that respawns. So you can go up there for, I think it's a Cyber Elf spot, but that's not important to me now, so I'm just gonna go. Alright, this room. I need exactly 90 seconds to disarm this. Could you wait exactly 90 seconds? Oh, by the way, tons of enemies everywhere. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. She has a lot. Most of the problem is her taking damage drains your mission clear points. Please stop. The problem is that's stable like most of the time, but when it stops being stable, it gets really unstable. Oh, of course, in the 2 seconds we encountered turbulence, so now we can't transfer out. Planes, I tell ya. Oops. Actually, I should destroy stuff here for potential big health. It might just be... no, we're good. So I should be good for refilling if I don't miss everything. Oh, am I full? Yeah. Alright, let's go. You look a little familiar. Alright, we're already ice, so we're good. Dang, I was going for a fancy finish. Mission 0%. That is the reward for getting hit so much. Or Seal getting hit so much. Dang, if I worked a little harder, I could have hit a solid 0. Ah, well. Maybe next time. That was an experience. So he's kind of going off the deep end. Yeah, the solution here is anything but we should destroy all the humans. I feel bad for Sealed because now she has to go back to acting commanding work, even though that was explicitly what she brought El Piso in to take over, so she could do what she's supposed to be doing. So we have the 3 Guardians, and standing in for Phantom, we have a Frog. But don't count the Frog out. The Frog is a really tough, and actually, I don't know if I would say like really good necessarily, but it's one of the more interesting bosses in the game, I think. See, I'm trying to decide where I even want to go. I think I want to go to the forest just because I'm really familiar with this stage. So here's El Piso's theme specifically. I actually really like it, but you don't get to hear it often. So what I could have done the first time I did the first forest area, you can burn the canopies away, and it reveals a bunch of usually health drops up above. Also, there are caterpies. There was a cyber elf here. Trying to see if I can find a very specific sort of arrangement of things with these static crystals in this stage, because there are a lot of them. Most of the reason I know this stage like the back of my hand is it's a great grinding spot for accumulating energy crystals. You just do runs of this stage. Here's where the 2 dinguses are. Now here's a spot where you're supposed to use the chain rod to swing across, but I don't want to put my faith in it and have it fail me and die, so you can actually just make the jump if you do this. One of the funniest hiding places in the game is right here. You can just walk through this, and it goes down to here to where an elf is. It's like you look at this and it's like, okay, this is a wall. I'm just gonna jump up, but no, it's a thing. So there's another thing hidden over this way that I don't have to do. It looks like you're supposed to be able to get across this spike pit, but you can only do that if you have the elf that makes you only take damage from them. It's not the expected way. Expected way is to get up there. It's hard, but you can grapple the ceiling up there, the same way I was hitting that block. Might be easier to start here. Well, whatever. You get the point. You grapple from here, then you grapple up there instead, and then you take the wall up. I really hate grappling with the chain rod's mechanics, so... So I can't get far enough away to be able to pull his shield off, because you can't pull things unless they're a certain distance away from you to begin with. You can hopefully see why I like that stage so much for farming crystals. I usually just go that far, but there's more in the second half, but this mini-boss eats a bunch of time if you're just trying to quickly do repetitions of places that have crystal spots. Oh, right. Another secret thing is over in this area. If you don't destroy that block, you can get up here. And if you destroy specific blocks here... No, I think that was the one I should... Wait. I don't remember which one you're supposed to not destroy now. Okay. Yeah, that was it. Over here is another thing. I feel like this one actually has some of the better hiding spots, generally speaking. Like, interesting things to do, but it also has a bunch that are just completely ridiculous, and nobody would ever think to do that naturally. Hecker. Also, this is the worst enemy placement in the entire game. So if you want to level up your chain rod, this counts. Alright, that's enough of that. I think that is a trick that the speedrun actually does in order to have, on a certain stage it does that in order to have its charge for a, I think, for a boss. Okay. Ah, dang it. I was gonna say, if you destroy just that one, you can stand on this block, pull that one over, and then fall down to where there's a spike pit that leads to one of the two obtainable sub-tanks. Hey. I forgot you could do that. Harpuya's not sacking anything. I'm sacking it. So it grows and gets more dangerous the more Weedle or Caterpies it eats. So you typically want to interrupt that before the gold one falls, because it's the most dangerous for it to swallow. Ow. I think Sluggish Warrior sums me up pretty well. So this is the actual main driving force of the story. El Piso is like a vehicle, but the actual, like, thing is the Dark Elf and the Baby Elves. And we'll be learning about them throughout the second set of stages. Why is that? Granted, 0-3 kind of has, like, a kind of hard to top. It jumps a pretty big shark, but... I think it's okay it feels like they kind of made the story of 04 to specifically just to make closure. Because I think 03 is really the climax of the series. I most remember this stage. I don't remember it fondly, but it's the one I most remember, so I'm going here. So one criticism I've heard about this game is that the second set of stages basically reuse the same assets as the first set for the most part, but this one's an exception. But the main reason I don't really care about that is, look at 01. It has a actually relatively small overall world, and all of the stages other than the end game take place in that same world. Yeah. It's like you could say it's a different thing because these are encapsulated levels and not trying to be a overarching overworld or anything, but I don't know. I don't really get it. The criticism with that. It's like, it's a GBA. You don't have unlimited space, and they're putting a lot. You can tell they're putting a lot of the like data space into making the music work really well. I always felt like that was their big focus with the games, not like it definitely looks good, it feels good, it flows well, it's a good exhibition of challenge kind of thing, but as far as like the work put in, I always felt like the most work was put into making the music work right. So, gimmick to this stage, there are these crystals forming platforms, basically. I don't think I can charge you up enough to hit it. Okay, that is functional, but so it can be red or blue, and you reveal the color that the thing in the corner is when you shoot it. There's a lot of blind checking you can do with, like, am I against a wall and stuff, but for the most part, you just have to time your shots on this thing, and it's I don't like it. I don't trust where I'm going. Okay. There's a spot you can get to over on the right there on the way down, but you have to evade a spike platform to get to it, and I don't feel like it. Why does it have to spew these things out that just get in the way? Darn it. Question marks. Oh, right, this part. So, don't destroy the soldiers because they're being mind-controlled. And these things, which are still the worst enemy in the game. Whatever. Whatever. I'm going. Can't go down there. So this is actually, the shuttle that we were on in the in-between stages crashed. You can go back inside after you clear this level. You can come back and you can go in and revisit the different paths to get the cyber elves. Because there's one cyber elf on both of the sides of a split path, and you can only take one the first time. So Harpuya is not very different. The main difference is that this big AI exploits are less pronounced. Like there's less. It's not as easy to. Because he eventually does this. However, even given that, he is still kind of a weenie. Might be a little. Right, so this is an alternative to the factory stage from earlier that prominently uses a much more in-your-face gimmick. As I recall, this is one that is also non-linear like the first was, but it's a bit more pronounced getting around. Ow. So the gimmick here is there are these hot, I guess, molten steel carrying things, and you can freeze them. You don't want to freeze them all the time and try to use them as platforms, because while they're frozen, they can still crush you. So you want to try to get around them other ways whenever possible, but whatever. These ones are also very likely to crush you against the ceiling if you try to freeze them and then get up and hop on. It's much better to just not. The lava is, but these things are not. Rather, I believe they'll act like spikes in that they won't instant kill me because I have the elf for it. Whoop. Don't want to test though. Those things are a little annoying, because you have exact tiles to not get hit in the head by them. Alright. We might be finding out if the magma kills you soon. Whoop! Iframes. Doesn't matter. Whatever. I'm here now. It's fine. This part reminds me of, like, Crash Man or something. Which is, like, You're going way up now. Hey. Hey. These things are the worst. Absolutely the worst. Well, that's kind of his style, I suppose. Yeah, my experience with the games was I only ever owned the first game for a long time. Then I ended up emulating the others once that was a thing that I did regularly, and I just never really got into any of 2, 3, or 4 as hard as I did 1. 4 was kind of an exception just because I liked the general feeling and aesthetic of the set pieces and things. I also feel like it's the most generously designed of the entire series. People will often conflate that as to say that it's way too easy, but it's more that it's the most intuitive, I would say. So it's at least, yeah. It's at least, where was I going? It's at least generally the most fun of the series for me. I'm better at 1, but I still think 4 is the most enjoyable. Not from the... I understand your complaints about the plot and stuff, certainly. My main gripe with 0-4 is that you have to grind for part drops. Granted, you have to grind for drops in all of the games, but having to grind different specific enemies to get parts to try to mash together into items is a different thing. Two and 3 were probably the best for minimizing the grind pains. Hello. Oh, I remember this stage now. It has mines. Yeah, I like ZX, and I played it a lot, but I never finished it. I don't entirely remember why. It might be because I couldn't 100% it, and because I couldn't get one of the things, I kind of lost interest in a... Not like I was, like, mad at the game or anything, but... it was more just... When I'm playing games on my own, it is really easy for me to just generally lose track of my willingness to... It's not willingness to play a game, but I just get distracted. It's like... I've literally played games where it's like I play one session and then it's like I have to go make dinner or something. Then I get back from making dinner and I'm like, what was I doing again? And I just forgot that I was ever playing that game, essentially. It is an annoyingly common feeling. Don't mind me, just doing a little weapon grinding. I don't know why, so I'm not going to use Rod Charge. It just amuses me. Stop that. That was honestly one of the things that made me want to start streaming, was just the encouragement to finish games. So this section is hard to not take damage on. There's an easy way, but I'm not. It's kind of difficult to keep up with. My preferred way is to just do big jumps like that, but then you don't end up at a good spot afterward. The other good strategy is you about face as soon as you slide off the side of one of these, and then you attach to the opposing side of the next one. And just kind of slalom down. But it's really easy to lose the flow of doing that and then end up getting hit more than other approaches. But if it's working out, it's perfect. It's just once it stops working out that you have a problem. She has new attacks and stuff, but all three of these are effectively just as easy as they are in the first game, just with a little bit keeping it different. Alright, so that's the second set of stages, so we'll be getting into the end game soon. Well, my first time through I kept an A rank to get the EX skills, and that was already more than I really felt like doing. Somebody's looking a little less hinged than last time we saw him in a cutscene. So things are starting to get a lot worse all of a sudden. It was, and then he started getting into dark elves, and then he lost it. I always hate it when... Oh. By the way, this game has the best line in the series. As I was saying, I always hate games where it starts scrolling the text slowly and you have to hit a button to make it fill out, but then they have these lines that are like 2 letters after a page break, so you get in this habit of just hitting the button twice to automatically fill in the next line, and then you just miss that line. Granted, if it's that short, it's not a lot to miss, but still. Probably be electric if there's going to be those ahead. I think it works well on those. Yeah. I like these interim stages where it's just kind of here's some action set piece. By the way, we get to fight this again. Yes, I just like that where it's just kind of not long, but there's just a bunch of stuff to chew through to get to a boss. They're simple, they're pretty generally irrelevant, but I still enjoy them. They tend to be some of my favorites just because they're short and sweet and they don't buy into any specific gimmick too hard. So, there are still 3 more levels. There's one shrine to all 3 elements, and then the final stage. That one was flame, so let's go electric. Okay. Oh. Okay, don't shock those because it makes them fall. Okay. So, spike protection does work on those. Confirmed. However, I'm not sure what breaking these actually avails me, because I still... Let's go up. No, you can't. Okay, that's helpful. How about the same thing but harder? Or, I guess, not necessarily harder, but just worse. Right. did. It was just before I started this one. So here's the part where the Guardians are also drinking the Dark Elf juice, and now they can turn into vehicles. Okay. Ice Temple. So now I get to set up fire. Get off me, dog. Get off. I'm never sure how you're expected to manage to struggle out of a grab in these games, because it just kind of going ham on the controller doesn't seem to be very effective at it. Oh right, this section. It's very dangerous. There's a lot of major threats that make it really easy to die at any time if you have a lapse in judgment. The fish are extremely difficult to avoid. Heck. Thank you, Spike Protection. Oof. What is player expectation? I don't know what they expected, but that's what they got. Maybe I was supposed to swing. Also, did I say they become vehicles? Because, no, she just becomes a stingray. This is a much more interesting fight than Fefner's was, but still pretty easy to just punch through. Okay, now I'll have one more temple, and then I get to, oh dear. The boss rush is gonna be a thing. Temple of Wind. Okay. I was hoping those two soldiers would make for a good grind spot, but not necessarily. They're just spaced not properly for it. Oh good, these again. Okay. Almost got that tank full already. Jerk. Also a jerk. How dare. Alright, good. Okay. First time I ran into these, I couldn't do anything about them, but the trick is you actually burn them down with fire attacks. Alright, now we get to see it in action. What's been going on with them? Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here charging. Supreme Edge Boy. I mean, it's basically just Zero in a nutshell. Alright, so, question. Before I go into the final mission, should I just pop all of the permanent upgrade elves and say to heck with it? It's not going to give me, like, a huge advantage against the bosses other than having more health and more sub-tanks. I can get 2, 4, 6 times 2, 12 more health, and 2 sub-tanks. I can get move speed, slide down wall speed, climb speed, and knockback. Also, double item potency. Yeah, I guess. It's not like I'm tarnishing a particularly good grade for this playthrough or anything. Actually, I think those are giving 4 each, so that would be 24 more health. Okay, I guess that's significant. Just so I don't have to worry about filling them up the old-fashioned way. So, now that El Piso has gone completely mad with power and actually gotten it, we gotta make sure that doesn't happen. Gotta stop him from destroying X's body, which is being used to seal the full power of the Dark Elf. Fortunately, we only have 6 refights. Because we've already done refights with the Guardians. Need electric for you. Thank you for waiting. I really wish there was a better, or any kind of tell that I was aware of for which is the real one there. Dang it. Whoops. Hopefully the increased item potency is enough to cover the crippling losses, which seems to be. So they're all basically infected with the Dark Elf's will. They're all also mumbling something about becoming of a new world. Yeah. It's kind of like, which was the ice boss in the X series that had, like, sculptures of bosses from earlier ice bosses? You might be weak to ice, because, like, I fought one that was weak to electric and one that was weak to fire, so... If these are, in fact, doing Trinity... Actually, I don't think they are, because I think this and the frog are, non-elemental. So the slinky might look unassuming, but to actually not get hit by it is actually really, really tight. Also, small thing, but I actually really appreciate that they have these vertical door transitions, and they actually make sure you're properly centered and aligned as you transition up to make sure you don't have some kind of clipping problem or something. You know what? Forget it. Being fancy, completely unnecessary. And sometimes you just completely don't grab the ladder and spike. Alright. Who do we have in this set? Ah, frog time. Dang it. I'm guessing fall first. Nope, roll. Stop that. Stop that. The Caterpies are out of control. Would you just land already? Dang. I do not like that boss. It's like, it's fine until things start getting out of hand, but once things start getting out of hand, they don't stop. Aha. The brothers are together. One on the left from the previous game, and one on the right from this game. Now fighting as one. Really didn't want to use one of these. Oh, right, it's you. That boss is a lot easier to control if you have access to his weakness and charge attacks, but with this game having its having the level up system still, you can't reliably have charge the first time through. So if you come there with his weakness, it's still not like a dependable approach. Oh, by the way, spikes. One thing this game definitely needed more of. Jerk. Oh, this should be fine. I think this is it. Yep. So here's where the real X has been all along. Hold up here, keeping the Dark Elf at bay. And it just happens. Nobody comes at the last second to keep him safe. Nothing intervenes miraculously to make sure X doesn't die. No, he's just gone. Oh no, he has lines on him. Self-heal that, you jerk. So coming up is like the coolest single second in the entire series. Yeah, he had a bad time. Unfortunately, the boss itself is not very difficult. 1 point! Elf Assassin. Ouch. I still feel bad for him overall. So this is our first glimpse of something that's going to become more important as we move forward. That the Dark Elf is not necessarily an inherent being of evil, as it seems to be presented up to this point. Fortunately, apparently, X's cyber consciousness thing can still go on without having his physical body. But it's kind of gotta suck not knowing that your actual body is dead, and now you are just a... I guess he would be equivocal to a cyber elf at this point. So that was 0-2. It has the same rocky start and couple stages that are huge roadblocks, as I remember it being. But aside from a few stages that are just really not great, the game overall is... like, even without those, it's still easily the hardest of the four, and not always for the right reasons. Like any of them, the more you play it, the more you'll get used to the pain points and the less painful they'll be. Like, I feel like if I didn't warm myself up on the games a couple weeks ago, just going in rough on 0-2 with a blank file, I would not have finished. I would have just said, you know what, I'm done at some point. But I think that's really the main problem. It's not that the game is too hard empirically, it's that the game is too hard when you don't have access to any of the power-ups, which is something you're inherently going to be stuck in at the beginning of the game anyway. So I feel like if you just want to experience the games, I still really feel like the best and most enjoyable way to do it is to play through the easy scenario on the DS collection, or I think the new Steam collection has it too, but just generally speaking, do those first. A lot of the worst pain points will be smoothed over for you. It might feel a little cheap, but if you feel like it was cheapened, use the understanding that you got from the easy scenario playthrough and use that as a vehicle to help you get through a normal playthrough to follow it up with. Like, with these games, I really feel like it's just warranted. It's really overboard how much power you walk in with the easy scenario, but I feel like it's an important part of things. Anyway, we're getting a little X1 action. We're finally getting our first shadow of who the actual villain was. We heard his name, but we never saw him. I guess we heard his voice there. I'm not gonna save because I want to do the same thing I did before, use all the elves and re-clear, but I'm not gonna do that on stream this time because this took plenty of time with the couple stages that kind of turned into death balls. Yeah, that'll be it for me for tonight. Next time we're going to be getting into 03. It's going to be hopefully a lot less painful than this was. That's going to be on Saturday. I feel like 03 is where the real pinnacle of the series happens. Like, the most true climax of everything. I like the closure you get out of 04. It does a good job of wrapping things up, but it's definitely a wind down from the pinnacle of stakes that happen in 3. Yeah, like I said, that's it for me for tonight. But as always, I want to thank everybody for coming out. It's always nice to have that company. And I hope to see you again next time. Have a nice evening, and take care.